I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Rudy Giuliani just received some devastating news. He was sued for $1.36 million by his former law firm, the firm of Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron LLP, and Robert J. Costello. They sued him for failure to pay for legal services rendered in the various cases across the country, both criminal investigations, criminal cases, civil cases, state bar proceedings where they represented Rudy Giuliani. As far as I know, Rudy Giuliani essentially lost all of the proceedings where they represented him, where a jury or judge ultimately had to render a verdict. Ultimately, he was not charged by special counsel Jack Smith, although he is an unindicted co-conspirator in the Washington, D.C. criminal case. But he was indicted by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. He's since hired a new lawyer. More on that in a moment. But in this $1.36 million lawsuit, the law firm suing Rudy Giuliani lays out all of the legal work they perform in all of the various cases. I just want to give you a sample of what they say in this complaint. And just to be very clear as well, here's the thing. It is not a liberal or progressive or democratic position to say, Rudy Giuliani, you're not paying your legal bills, or Donald Trump, you are not paying these services. You are grifting here. You're using your political action committee to fundraise, saying it's for campaign purposes, but ultimately paying for lawyers, evidently not Rudy Giuliani, but other lawyers to represent you. That's just facts. And if you present those facts to MAGA Republicans, they're so deep down the rabbit hole of their cult where they'll just be like, well, Hunter Biden. And it's like, what are you even talking? You're just saying names. Hunter Biden's laptop. I'm like, okay, look, Hunter Biden is not in government. Hunter Biden has nothing to do with this. Is that all? Is that the only word that you know? Let's take a look at the complaint filed against Rudy Giuliani. Plaintiff, Davidoff, Hutcher, and Citron LLP, and Robert J. Costello, as and for their complaint against Rudy Giuliani, allege as follows. This action simply seeks payment of an outstanding bill for legal services rendered by plaintiffs in the amount of $1,360,000 and change, in addition to scheduling a hearing on the reasonable attorney's fees plaintiffs are contractually entitled to as the prevailing party in this litigation. So $1.36 million plus the additional fees for having to initiate this action. From on or about November 2019 through on or about July 2023, plaintiffs provided legal services on behalf of the defendant. The legal services included, but were not limited to, representing the defendant while he was being criminally investigated by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, representing the defendant during a pending criminal investigation in Georgia by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, representing the defendant during a pending criminal investigation by special counsel Jack Smith regarding the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, and representing the defendant during a pending investigation by the U.S. House Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. The defendant also directed plaintiffs to supervise more than 10 civil lawsuits filed against defendant Rudy Giuliani that were commenced in various state and federal courts, as well as participating in representing the defendant in disciplinary proceedings regarding his law license in the District of Columbia and the First Department of New York, which they lost because his license has been suspended. During the course of plaintiff's representation of defendant, plaintiffs billed defendant directly For fees and expenses that totaled $1.57 million, defendant has paid only $214,000 of the total bill, leaving a total of $1.36 million outstanding. And if you look for the various causes of action, after stating some additional facts like defendant Giuliani executed a retainer agreement, so there is a contract for this, to pay plaintiffs for legal services rendered. The billing statements were issued by the law firm on law firm letterhead on a regular basis. Between November 2019 through July 2023, at the request of defendant, plaintiff performed legal services. Defendant agreed to pay plaintiffs the fees for their legal services, and only $214,000 of the $1.5 million legal fee was ultimately paid.
Support for Meidas is brought to you by Manscaped, who has the best in men's below-the-waist grooming products. That's right, their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code Meidas at manscaped.com. Look, everyone knows that you have to be careful when dealing with the family jewels. You definitely don't want to use an old crusty electric trimmer. Yikes! That's why I'm so excited to partner with Manscaped. Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest below-the-waist trimmer ever? Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has 4,000K LED spotlights you'll need for a more precise shave. And because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming game to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their Crop Preserver deodorant and Crop Reviver toner will change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Meidas. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code Meidas. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
So, what was going on behind the scenes here? Well, first, I'm sure Rudy Giuliani promised the law firm that Donald Trump was going to pay his legal fees. But Donald Trump refused to do that. Ultimately, what Donald Trump wouldn't directly pay for that, of course. No, Donald Trump would use his grift machine, his political action committee, and he would use that to make the payments to Giuliani. But that never happened. Instead, Trump used the political action committee simply to pay for an electronic discovery vendor in the Ruby Freeman Shea Moss defamation case against Giuliani, so that Giuliani could try to avoid contempt and other sanctions there. And Giuliani would not have to disclose what his actual assets were to the federal court in response to a federal court order. So that payment was made for about $300,000 or so, approximately. And then Giuliani still failed to participate in discovery in that federal case. So ultimately what happened was the court entered a default judgment in the Ruby Freeman and Shea Moss case and found Giuliani to be liable there. So when Donald Trump wouldn't make the payments to Giuliani to pay the lawyers, Giuliani went on this Cameo app and was asking for a few $100 to say things. And so ultimately this is what Giuliani, how he was trying to make money. Play this clip.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle, here's my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. I'm a very special teapot. Yes, it's true. Here's an example of what I can do. I can turn my handle into a spout, tip me over, and pour me out.
And apparently he wasn't able to establish a career being a short and stout teapot. So Donald Trump then, I guess, held a fundraiser for Giuliani. I don't think that was all that successful. And then as Donald Trump was giving one of his right-wing deranged fascist speeches recently, on the right-hand side, I'll just pull it up right now. I'm not going to play the video. You see like Giuliani's face, like it almost looks like an obituary. Like I don't even know what that is. What are we even looking at there? But folks, this just highlights the very fact that this is systemic, endemic. This is MAGA. They don't pay their bills. They stiff their own lawyers. They make false promises. There is a dangerous fascism there. There is also a brutal incompetence there as well. And a grift and a fraud that is inextricably intertwined in everything that they do, in every fiber, because they are built on the image of Donald Trump. And that's what Trump did his entire life, folks. That's what's going on. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, wherever you get audio podcasts. Subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Have a great one.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.